Is it just me, or have fighting games been getting some terrible balance patches lately? From Tekken 8 Season 2 creating such backlash with their buff bullshit mindset that they fired the balancing team, to Fatal Fury having literal SS tier characters for over 7 months, and in their $2.5 million tournament, top 6 had 2 characters, to Arxis balancing decisions seemingly being made at random, to Hunter x Hunter not even caring about balancing their game, I feel like balance patches have been getting worse and worse, and I'm not sure why. Broski recently tweeted this: "Would be nice if we could find a middle ground between getting throw looped for 3 years straight and having to relearn combo routes every month," which is referring to the latest 2XKO patch. I think fighting game patches can be better. I think some companies do some good things and they do some bad things, and I don't think anyone's completely nailed it yet. And that's why I was excited to dive into the latest 2XKO patch and the recent article from Riot describing their patch philosophy. It's a great article, I'll link it down in the description, but the TLDR, they balance based on stats and community sentiment. They try to take a more cautious approach, and there's a lot of thought into the actual balance changes that they do, which I agree with their approach. But there's things that are left unsaid in this article that I don't agree with. And I hate to pick on 2XKO, but I think they're the most likely developers to actually do this correctly. So yeah, it's time to rant. And let's start with a few things I dislike about this recent patch. And we'll start with what Broski's comment, which is, why do the combos change every month? So this is the most recent patch from 2XKO 1.0.3, and I think it does a few things actually really well. Echo, Teemo, and Yasuo gets nerfs. These are the 3 characters by far that need the nerfs in the game. So it's like they're doing things in the right direction, which is half the companies can't even nail that, right? That being said, I don't like how they're doing some of what they're doing. Ahri has one change. I think the devs recognize that, hey, Ahri's pretty strong. She does good damage, and they reduced her combo length, right? So Spirit Rush, Midair, forward S2 now has reduced hit stun, lane, and scaling. So now you have to do a different combo route with Ahri. We now have new optimal Ahri routes. They're still quite long. You still can link a super after a combo. You just have to do 2S2 instead of 6S2, right? And a little different extension. So like, to me, some of these nerfs just feel like they're just inconveniencing players, where it's like, all right, like now I have to do a different combo. The combo basically does the same thing. Imagine this happening every month. So if you want to nerf the combo, how do you do this in a way that doesn't impact players? You just nerf the damage on something that you have to use in the combo anyways, right? So for example, if I do this, I have to go into this S1 super in order to pick it up, right? You can just nerf the damage or the scaling after the S2 super. The 90% of the player base that doesn't play this game like every day, they're not going to notice this, right? They're just gonna be like, oh, Ahri does a little less damage, I can still do everything I did before. And for the sweats, like they can recognize, oh, maybe there's a little combo decision I need where like I shouldn't always go into S1 super because, you know, I might not get the damage I need, right? Another example, right? Like the Yasuo, I think a lot of these Yasuo changes are great. But again, just like every single patch, the last 4 or 3 patches, Yasuo has had to adjust his combos. And because they nerfed the startup of his 2H, which means some combos are no longer possible, right? Like you can do all these other changes, like hitbox slightly decreased. Maybe you can like increase recovery or something, so you can nerf the 2H without it affecting combos. Look how many, I was just bookmarking random combos because I play Yasuo. Basically like all the nerfs are changing my combos. Here's a new combo extension. Here's another combo. Here's another Yasuo combo. People are coming up with all these new Yasuo combos, and it's happening every single patch, right? And imagine like you take a 2-month break from this game and they patch this game like 3 times and like everything's completely different, right? Like I can't keep up with this. I play Yasuo. What I prefer the approach that like Street Fighter takes, right? This guide was made 2 years ago, actually probably like 2.5 years ago. You go to the combo section, every combo still works. It's not her optimal combos anymore. They've adjusted things, right? You actually should be doing different combos, but you're adding on top of different things, right? Yeah, you could change the system, but you just retain the combo routes. Yeah, Under Night does it well, Guilty Gear does it well, pretty much every game I've played does it well. They retain most of the combo routes, but like sometimes you can just add additional combo routes, right? I think the idea of a game being patched every 5 weeks is actually really exciting. It means they can be closer to the meta, they can make a lot of smaller adjustments. But right now, based on my experience, they're gonna change the combos for my team every single patch. So every 5 weeks, I need to learn a new combo. Maybe if they structure this a little differently, like if they decide to patch it every 5 weeks, but they only change the combos that you need to learn like every, I don't know, every 15 weeks, On the bright side, new Yasuo bugs that buff him every 5 weeks. Okay, I think they prioritized the wrong bugs. Example, Teemo, bug fix. I absolutely hate this change. They bug fixed Teemo's parachute, slow fall, so no longer persists after he tags out. What is the point of changing this? Right, there's literally game-breaking bugs in this game. The team I want to play is Vi Alawi. This is like, I want to make this my team. This team has several bugs that like just make this team really, really hard to play. So for example, if I'm trying to do Vi charge S2, and I call Vi, and I want to dash through them, I literally can't dash through them. So when I'm holding S2, for some reason, I can't dash through the opponent, right? I don't know why. So you can do this in duos. Oh yeah. I guess I didn't even know if you hold down any button, yeah, you just can't. You can't dash through. Yeah, I didn't even think about that, right? There's like, if I do this, I don't know if this is an intended bug, but like, for example, I can't do something like this. Let me see if I can get it. I can't do S2 super. Doesn't matter how much I mash, because I'm holding S1 for some reason, I can't do S2 super. You can do it in duos. It's technically possible, but solo, you can't do it, right? So there's like these little weird quirks and bugs that affect my team, but they just don't address them, right? And like, I get it, they're working on the bugs and they're slowly fixing the bugs, but like, who's complaining about the parachute? Like if I'm gonna tag in at Teemo, why would I do parachute when I can just do this? Why would I do parachute when I can just do this? Yes, it's pretty good, and I think some teams do abuse it, but like, I think having more options is better than less options. Another example of this is actually something I think people thought I was complaining about, but I wasn't. This is me fighting Cloud. I clipped this from Cloud's stream. He does super, he fucks up. He does get up attack, he rewinds, and he kills me.
Yeah, Apology Man hit me with that one.
They took this out, and I disagree with it. This barely impacts balance, right? This situation requires you, for the Echo player to fuck up, I have to somehow grab them, because if I did a combo, the install will go away, right? So it's a very niche situation in the first place. This came up like once every 50 games. This doesn't impact balance, right? It's just a cool thing that the character can do every once in a while, right? Cool if you're Echo, but it doesn't impact balance. This situation never comes up. And like the rare situation that comes up, I think it's cool to have it. And I think if all you do is nerf, like again, this is pretty much a nerf patch. The last patch was pretty much a nerf patch. Yes, they added one Blitzcrank buff, and it's actually quite a good buff, which is this rocket punch now destroys projectile earliers, and like you can like cancel and shit. So it's actually quite good. But like overall, there's like, for every buff that a character got in this patch, there's like 5 nerfs, right? If you have all nerfs and no buffs, it's just a boring patch, right? And I think this patch is on the more boring side. But if it's all buffs and no nerfs, like that one DNF dual patch or some others, like the game just becomes really broken, and there's like power level creep like really hard. Same thing with Tekken 8, right? So you have to find that. I think there's like a middle balance. I wish Riot would buff a little bit more and nerf a little bit less. Not that I don't think these nerfs were needed. I think all of these nerfs were good. I would just like to see them bring up some of the lower tiers as well. Give them like some cool options, right? So one of the things they talk about is every champion to have a fighting chance that's all skill levels, right? So you don't want to like if you just crank, let's say Braum is bad. Okay, so this is all the tournaments for first impact that have pot bonus, right? Is someone seriously at Riot telling me that like Braum is okay? There's quite a disparity between like Echo and Yasuo and Ahri and like Braum. I imagine Braum and Blitz are like a strong character at low level. So what you can't do is you can't just be like, all right, what we're gonna do, we're just gonna make Braum do double damage, right? Because at low level, he's gonna be too dominant. And I think this is the argument they're making. It's just like, hey, these characters are balanced at low level, and so therefore, like they shouldn't be changed. But realistically, you could change the character that only impacts things at high level. I'm gonna play Vi, for example. I don't think Vi is very good in this game, so I think Vi could use some buffs. And I'm assuming at low level Vi is good. So like, what you don't want to change about this character, like what do low level players do? They probably mash this super. They probably mash this string here, right? So you don't want to buff stuff like that. Like you can give her more options. Vi has this move where like you use this in a combo, but like you never do this in a block string. Any player worth their salt is gonna be able to block a 39 frame overhead. This 39 frame overhead is -5 on blocking. You can't cancel into it, right? So this is an example of a move that like you could give her more options out of this and make it more fun for like higher level players. For example, like you could make this dash cancelable. So like if you somehow manage to make a strong player block this, because again, most strong players are just gonna 2H it or parry it on reaction, then you actually get rewarded because you can like go for additional pressure or something after. Yeah, you can buff down S2. This is Vi's anti-air. Like this works, but like if they block this is like punishable because the super no longer has like block stun. There's a bunch of like little small things you can do that like add depth to the character. A lot of it is like giving them more options, right? Another move is like there's a lot of these moves that in this game that are like only useful for combos. For example, like -9, there's a parryable gap. No one's doing this outside of combos, right? And maybe the occasional tag situation. Wouldn't it be cool if there was like a mind game, like I could like choose not to do the follow-up and therefore like make like a pseudo frame trap? Like it's stuff like that I think they need to be adding to these characters that like doesn't impact low level play, but it makes the characters like have more depth at high level and therefore makes the character like better. Another example, like this partial charge S1 +2, but like you'd think it'd be good to beat push blocks, but if you try to do it to beat the push block, you'll hit the assist and then they get a punish anyways. Not to mention it's like really committal because it's slow. The fully charged one's good for like tag out situations and stuff, but like the medium charge one, not as useful as you might think. Yeah, if they air block this, right, like if they're just up backing, I'm dead. That was -14 on block. Example for Braum, I don't know what I buff about Braum. I don't play that much Braum, but like again, same issue is like you have a lot of moves that are used for like combos, and maybe this could be used as like a projectile reflect. Maybe this could be like leave them closer. It's +7, but like you're basically out of range to do anything meaningful. Maybe this will leave it closer. This is a risk to do. It is 25 frames. They can parry this on reaction. Maybe make like these shield cancels like better, so you could do like cool block strings. I don't know. Yeah, super cancel off shield. That's a great one, right? Like that's not gonna affect low level because you have to like use that in certain scenarios. And the other thing I like about other games is that like when they nerf something, they give people compensation buffs. So for example, Yasuo probably got hit the worst this last patch. When was the last time you've seen this outside of like in duos where maybe we can make this better, right? And take away all the bullshit he has. Like they made this so it's not special cancelable. Great, that was bullshit. Let's give them a little compensation buff to like, you know, make the Yasuo players feel like they get something, right? It feels worse to play a worse character, but like at least you can sweeten it a little bit by like giving the character a new tool. The Teemo buff. That was a great example. This is now -3. So to compensate for this, they made this fully charged Wii +2 on block. It used to be like -15 or something. This is a great change. This isn't strong. This doesn't break Teemo. This move is still bad. I mean, this is like literally parry bait, but it gives people something cool to play around with. All right, this is gonna be a hot take. So right here, they talk about, to be clear, we think that healthy 2XKO meta includes teams with different play patterns and different win conditions, and we don't want to make a game where every team looks the same when they're winning. Some teams should want to play for range space, some should want to rush down, etc. And so they want to balance stuff like freestyle mix and super tag. It's very clear Juggernaut and Sidekick are complete trash. No competitive player is running Juggernaut or Sidekick. I don't think they should be the best because they're easy to play, but it's literally not even close. It's literally like a troll fuse. I think it'd be cool if there's just one Juggernaut. I'm not saying Juggernaut should be the best. It definitely should not be the best. Same thing with Sidekick. Like these are definitely like intended to be weaker fuses, but it's literally not even close. It's literally not even close. Yeah, Modern's a great example. How many Modern players made in the Capcom Cup? Like 1 out of 32? But it's at least viable. Juggernaut and Sidekick aren't even close to being viable. You can have something be made for beginners and still have a little bit of competitive viability. You just have to, again, it comes back to like the Vi and Braum example. You could just buff things that beginners aren't using, but they are terrible. Yeah, Skullgirls is a great example. You look at a random Skullgirls tournament, and the vast majority of the people are playing 3 characters. But there's at least some competitive viability, in solo. It's not the best. Pretty much all the big tournaments are won by 2 or 3 characters, but at least it's viable. At least you can get into a top 8 of a tournament. If I had a gun to my head and they said you have to win TNS with Juggernaut, you can pick any character, I'm dead. I'm dead next week, bro. If I'm playing Juggernaut, how would you buff Juggernaut that doesn't impact low level? You can make parry better, right? You can make it so Juggernaut parry, I don't know, parries lows and highs. You could make it so, I don't know, I doubt the beginners are using snapback. You can make snapback better. Maybe it does more damage. There's way to buff things that don't impact low level. All right, I think this is that's most of the points I want to make. Oh, actually, I'm gonna do a little Riot defending. So the other main complaint I've heard of the patch strategy, but from Riot, I'm sure I could just search up Leffin's Twitter or something. I will say, yeah, I mean, generally me and Leffin are pretty aligned, right? Balance patch is good balance changes. Having to really learn B&Bs for something insignificant is really bad. I didn't even talk about this. The fact that we know Teemo is being nerfed, but we don't know when is like really cringe, right? Because if I play him and then he just gets nerfed in 2 weeks and then I have a big tournament in 3 weeks, I basically trolled. But if he's not gonna get nerfed for like 2 months, then hey, let me farm some tournaments. You know? It's really odd. I wish they just ripped the band-aid off completely and nerfed Teemo fully instead of being like, hey guys, we have some more nerfs coming, just wait. I think they said they weren't gonna patch before big tournaments. I mean, it depends what you call a big tournament. There's literally a first impact tournament this weekend. So like today's the 19th, you have FGC Teemos, 5 grand prize pool. You got some people flying out to this tournament. People had 3 days to relearn their RAB&Bs before this, right? I don't know. Maybe I'm not in the mood to defend Riot, but I think they're approaching that in the right way because it's going in the right direction. You don't want to. I think not changing things drastically is okay. I think if your vision as Riot is like people should be able to do this, then you just touch up the edge cases, right? My game just froze. But yeah, I'd say overall, I actually think it's a pretty good patch. Like, I don't mean to like just rant out of like, man, this is such a bad patch. I think this is in the right direction. I've realized I'm just gonna play the broke shit regardless. I think for the sake of fun and enjoyment of the game, that they adjust their strategy a little bit. All right, we're gonna kick this video. One last thing on this video. I want you guys to vote. What are the 5 most popular games right now? Street Fighter, Tekken, 2XKO, Guilty Gear? We'll say Fatal Fury because I want to put it there for the memes. Have fun, boys. Grand Blue is actually a pretty okay answer. It's not amazing because there's like some characters they just refuse to touch. Oh, that's weird. Why is no one voting Tekken 8? Also, who the fuck is voting Fatal Fury, bro? Have you whoever's voting Fatal Fury, I don't think has ever played Fatal Fury. The game has had the most dog shit patches I've ever seen. Literally nothing burger patches that changed almost nothing and just remove fun. To me, it's between Street Fighter 6 and 2XKO. I think Street Fighter 6 does a lot of good things. They keep the game stable. They keep it in a balanced patch. They always add like a couple like small things. I just don't think they patch enough and significantly enough, right? 2XKO is doing a better job than most companies. I don't want this video to be like, damn, 2XKO is cooked, 2XKO is fried. I think 2XKO is a great game. I just really want to succeed, and it's just part of my desire for that. So let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. Like, share, subscribe. Take care, y'all, and peace.